So is everybody else? Alan, Judd, okay. All right, so let's call roll, please.
Charnas,
Here.
Vincent,
Here.
Perry,
Here.
Silver,
Here.
Klein,
Here.
Hammett, Duber.
Here. I will make a motion to authorize the mayor to issue a change order to CATS Construction in the amount not to exceed $27,993.50 for the construction of the village recreational trail. Though, actually, I'm not making a motion yet. That will be west of Brainerd Road and north of Waterford Court. Before I make that motion, Mayor or Brian, one of you, there's another option, isn't there?
If you look in your packet, Brian sent you the spreadsheet for the two quotes, the CATS who we've been using for the Orangewood Trails and TC who is being used by Woodmere right now. It's easier to do a change order, but it will be quicker to go with TC. If we chose to spend $5,000 more, they're almost at the 100 and some feet, and they will do that now while they're there. But that will, we presented to council the economic choice.
So it would be about 32,000 and change or something like that.
Yes.
And Brian or Bob or whoever, do you guys have experience with TJ or
TC.
whoever's doing Woodmere? TC?
I have lots of experience with TC Construction. They're a good contractor and everything. Obviously, if we went with TC, we would have to get a contract out to them. So again, the reason we went with to look for TC, it was because they were doing the Woodmere sidewalk already, and I was hoping to actually get a better price from them than CATS. I was a little surprised that we didn't, because they were already going to be there. Again, good contractor. It's just that, in my opinion, that they came in high.
If we were going to go with the TC because of convenience and all that, what are the procedures and steps we'd still need to do? And Steve, does it require council to review the contract, to authorize it? I mean,
well, we'd still do it by motion. You would have to have a separate contract because we don't have a contract with TC as we do with CATS.
but they're there now, and I'm not sure that could wait till an August council meeting. Brian, timing?
No, they'll be done probably 3 weeks.
Yeah,
Well, we can, if we needed, I mean, obviously with the input of the rest of council, if that's something that we wanted to do and we needed, we now have that option to do this, have a quick little virtual if we need to pass one thing like that. But if we stuck with CATS, when would that likely get done?
I would imagine CATS would be moving in there after they finish Orangewood. So you're probably looking 6 to 8 weeks away.
Is TC aware that CATS came in 5,000 less than them?
Now, the CATS is based upon their Orangewood bid. Those are the numbers taken off Orangewood's bid. To extend their contract off of Orangewood to also do Brainerd. And they're fine with that. They didn't, look at TC's bid or anything. And again, I went to TC just because they were there. Their numbers were, again, I was really hoping to save, and in all honesty, it's not like we're spending a lot on mobilization or maintenance of traffic or anything, but they are, if you look at the spreadsheet, they're asking for $1 more a square foot for the walk. So
Is that negotiable at all still, or is that that's their number?
That's I would highly doubt it's negotiable because that's the contract they're using for Woodmere.
They based it on their unit prices?
Pretty much.
But
Is there a real rush that we have to get this done, that moving the CATS group over after Orangewood is done creates a.
We
real-
don't think so, except there will be another week or so of road
Disruption.
infringement. Yeah.
But just so you guys know, CATS is aware that, with the Woodmere project, we are already down to one-way traffic because of the length of the project, or will be down to one-way traffic. It just made sense to ask them to do it now. CATS will be maintaining two-way traffic when they do it. That was part of their requirement.
So it's
Well,
Because it's
5,000.
only less than 300 feet.
So it's
Then-
5,000 to have it done now, or 5,000 less to do it in 6 weeks, 8 weeks?
Yeah.
What's the realistic, do you think it would be like starting at the end of September, October would be done? Like what?
Again, it's going to be all on Orangewood, provided we don't run into, they're moving along when they're in there on Orangewood. Section 1, they had to drop back and do the retaining wall. There's no other items like that. Section 3 is where we're going to be in everybody's frontage, where you'll get into, it'll slow them down with just doing driveways and stuff. But I imagine that they'll be able to move through there.
They're not
Again-
going anywhere else, are they? They're not going to leave us for 2 weeks, are they?
Well, I've already had that conversation with them that they're here for good. We want this completed. It's not going to be hit miss. I even offered them, Brainerd was kind of going to be the in-between phase 1 and 2 when they had it all set to go over it and kind of do Brainerd. Again, it's 300 feet, nothing super complicated over there, in, out. But they chose to move on and didn't take advantage of that right then and there. So again, I don't think there's a big rush to get it done. We're gonna have just that segment that's missing for, from the completion of TC for probably a month.
I don't even think there's a driveway in that section, is there?
No, it's all along the retention basin.
Wait, so you just said a month, so you think it's only gonna be a month different?
From the time TC ends, cleans up, gets out, and they get in month, 6 weeks, yeah. I would think.
From like starter to completion, like completion of when TC.
Probably, I would say to the start. Again, we get weather like we had, for the last week where it's raining every day, no one gets a chance to pour concrete.
So like about 2 months, then you're saying of completion of, it would be completed about 2 months earlier?
I would think I would think CATS would be able to complete that in a week to 2 weeks, absolute tops.
If TC did it, how much time after they'd be done till CATS can start? Is that your question, Brandon?
No, my question is, if TC did it when they're done, when they would be done, how much additional time would it be until CATS would be done? Sounds like 2 months-ish.
I would say, 6 weeks, just use 6 weeks as the number. Right around there.
I don't know. I'll open up to everybody else. Obviously, I'm kind of the opinion of it's the waning part of summer, and if it's $5,000 and you're talking about 2 months and it's 2 of the summer months, I don't know if I'm necessarily opposed to saving the $5,000 on this. We're doing well financially, and I don't.
Opposed to saving it or opposed to spending it? You're confusing us.
What's that?
You're
No,
not
no,
opposed.
I'm sorry. I'm not opposed to spending it. Like, I don't know if saving $5,000 with having a 2-month delay is necessarily in the best interest. Just my 2 cents.
I just wish there were to
Something.
get TC to come down and kind of negotiate, saying they're already doing it. We're just adding a small addition of footage. They come down a little bit.
They're
we could just
using the
give them
prices in their contract now. So that would be like a whole new project, right,
I-
Brian?
I think what would happen is that if TC came down, I think Woodmere would come back to them and say, hey, we want a discount too.
Well, except for the fact that there's no driveway or anything in the Orange Village section, that I think is probably quicker and easier for them, but either way, I mean, so let's go on the presumption that it's gonna be it's gonna cost $5,000 more to have TC and approximately 2 months quicker to be completed. What is everybody's opinion on that?
I'm not sure it is 2 months sooner because you've got to wait for TC to finish what they're doing before that they can start. In Brian's first estimation, he thought that was another, how many weeks, Brian? Like,
Well, if we go with TC, they're coming straight through.
okay, so
They're just gonna continue and just do it all.
when do you think their start date would
They've
be?
started.
They're already in Woodmere right now.
They've come a long way. I was just there
When will
earlier.
they be done with the Woodmere section and start this little section?
Well, if we give them the go ahead, there's not going to be a finished Woodmere. They're just gonna keep working all the way to Waterford. They're starting at the north end and they're just gonna keep coming south. They're either stopping at the Corp line or going all the way to Waterford.
If they've
They've
done
already done
everything
about
they've
half of it.
done in the last week, they will be at Orange Village very soon.
I mean, they've already scraped about half, it seems like, to dig it,
At
so,
least.
at least,
To
so,
me, if TC were doing it, they might be done about the same time that the Orangewood project would be done here, which would be before Cats can mobilize to go over to the other location.
that doesn't sound like what,
Now, TC will be done long before Cats is finished with Orangewood.
So.
This, at least, like I said,
So
6
it
weeks.
It makes sense, to spend the money and get it completed. The only problem we have is executing a contract with TC as opposed to a change order with Cats.
Correct.
Is that a big problem?
Well, Steve, could you explain to us what that problem adds and if it involves $5,000 of legal bills?
No, Brian would take the contract documents that he uses for cats, convert it all over to TC and say, this is the deal.
You could do
Brian,
it.
do anything.
is it as easy as he makes it sound?
Yeah, I mean, we have the contract book. It would just be, basically our contract forms being pulled out and, change the title of it to, Brainerd North section or whatever we wanted to call it and put TC's information in there.
All right.
If
And
that's
that,
the
will-
case,
and that,
if that's the case, would we be required to solicit bids from other companies who might want to?
No,
it's below the state threshold.
no, the council has the authority under its charter and ordinances to pass this by a motion without bids.
So Steve,
Even if it were above the state's threshold, you could still approve this by motion without bids on a determination of the best interest of the village.
what do you think? We'd have to resume council like in a week and will that be soon enough, Brian, since it?
No, if you
going so
do a
fast?
motion tonight, Brian would get going on getting the contract turned around to TC.
Okay, so then would we have to meet with council again to make it effective?
No.
Oh, simple. All right, 5,000 to do it now or save 5,000 to do it later? That's
I'd like to make a motion, if you don't mind, to move this forward, because I think we'd like to, see it completed. And therefore, I'd like to move forward with the proposal from TC Construction for the extension of the recreational trails from the Woodmere Corporation line to the termination at Waterford Court.
And we should put the not to exceed number in the motion. What's that figure?
What's
Anna
the
has
number? What's the number, Anna? She's
5,000 more than,
No, I'll tell you exactly.
$32,791.
there you go. $32,791 not to exceed.
And just so everybody knows that does have $5,000 of discretionary money in it. So,
Oh.
yes.
And did the.
For
and did
both
the-
of them, it wasn't.
But we would have spent Katz's discretionary money. We're gonna save the 5,000.
And TC.
Okay, I have this motion
Second,
by Mr. Klein, but I didn't have anybody
I'll
second.
second it.
Thank you, Mr. Charmis.
Any other discussion? All right, if you call roll, Anna, please.
Charmis,
Yes,
Vincent,
Yes.
Perry,
Yes,
Silver,
Yes,
Klein,
Yes,
Duber.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, I will have that contract done and let TC know that they're able to proceed, so.
All right. Thank you, everyone. I will make a motion to approve the treasurer's report fiscal year 2021.
Second.
Thank you. Dana, if you would, please.
Okay, good evening. You first have the cash account summary for May 31st. It shows $9,379,635.57 in the bank accounts. May's revenues for all funds were $979,224.02. May's expenditures for all the funds were $722,068.64. It was a pretty basic month, nothing extraordinary, nothing really jumped out that was noteworthy. And then you have the revenue and expenditure reports for May 31st. We're at 41% of the year, which is 5/12. Our total revenues were at 42.65%. And on our expenditures, they were all within the 41% or under, with the exception of the finance department, which was at 54.27%. And that was because of the income tax sharing for Pinecrest, which is a once-a-year payment, is included in those numbers. So that kind of skews the percentage till we get further along in the year. That's all for the treasurer's report.
Anybody have any questions or comments? All right, if you call roll, please.
Charmis,
yes,
Vincent,
Yes.
Perry,
yes,
Silver,
yes,
Klein,
yes,
Duber.
Yes. I'll make a motion to approve the tax administrator's report for May 2021. Is there a second?
second,
Thank you. Dana, please.
Okay, so for May 31st, 2021, the tax administrator report has gross tax collections for May of $681,206.73. Compared to May of 2020, we see an increase of just over $158,000. Year to date, we have $2,422,207.81. Compared to the same period last year, we're up just over 93,000. So we're on the upward trend as a result of COVID last year. I wanted to point out for the expenses, you don't have us deductions in some of the line items because we received the retainer refund, which is revenue as a reimbursement of some of our costs or our expenses over the last year. Once a year, Rita does a consolidation or a review of the total costs of operations for the services, and we get a refund of the charge, the 3% charge that they charge us for doing the collections. So if you look at the bottom of the report this month, I am showing the retainer refund over the various past several years. We received $97,649 between Orange Village and Chagrin Highlands, which is 1.11 to 1.37% was our collection rate. So that 97,000 is built into the expenses, is added into the expenses there, which therefore throws us into showing a profit actually for Orange Village for expenses. We have more revenue than we have for expenses as a result. Does that make sense to everybody?
Not the way you said it, but that's okay. I understand it anyways.
Does anybody else have any
do
questions?
with the profit.
I'm sorry?
What do you do with the profit?
The revenue goes into the general fund of Orange Village. They just reimburse us once a year for any overpayments, so to speak, of what we've.
We invest in our community.
I have a great idea for an investment.
It is an extra.
No, I'm serious. I'll talk about it later.
Okay. And you have the income tax monthly analysis showing the historical for May. And then you have the gross income tax revenues, and you can see on that report for May that our May revenue is pretty close on target to where we were in 2019. So we're kind of rebounding from the COVID time, so that's nice to see.
All right, thank you. Any other comments? All right. And if you'd call roll, please.
Jarnes,
Yes.
Vincent,
Yes.
Harry,
Yes.
Silver,
Yes.
Klein,
Yes.
Duber.
Yes. Moving on to discussion bills to be paid in the month of July in the amount of $346,530.22 and additional June expenses in the amount of $128,708.56. Anybody have comments or questions on the bills?
I had a quick question on the additional bills. What is the Orange School Employee Credit Union fee?
Some of our employees have us deduct money to put in there. It's a withholding. It's the employees' money.
But it comes out of the 101. They
Well,
just,
so does their payroll. You just don't see the details of the payroll, but this is a check we write out of the general fund that they asked us to withhold and give to the savings bank. Right, Dana?
That's correct, and it gets charged to the account for where that payroll was. So
Oh.
if it's a finance yeah,
it's a wash. Okay.
yes.
Any other questions?
On the bills?
Okay. Move on to audience comments relating to agenda items only. Anybody? Doesn't seem so. Old business ordinance authorizing the issuance of notes in the amount of not to exceed 5.5 million in anticipation of the issuance of bonds and anticipation of the levy and collection of special assessments to acquire, construct, install, equip, and improve a recreational trail within Orange Village, together with all necessary proper purchases, retiring notes previously issued for such purpose, authorizing and approving related matters, declaring an emergency. This is on for third reading. I will make a motion. That's ordinance 2021-10. Is there a second?
Second.
Anybody have any comments further? If not, if you would call roll, please.
Jarnes,
Yes.
Vincent,
Yes.
Harry,
Yes.
Silver,
Yes.
Klein,
Yes.
Duber.
Yes. Ordinance 2021-11, an ordinance amending chapter 901 of the codified ordinances of Orange Village to enact new regulations applicable to work in the right of way and declaring an emergency. Again, on for second reading. Any further comments on this from last week's discussion? Okay. Ordinance 2021-12, an ordinance amending section 1162.09 of Codified Ordinances of Orange Village to require all vehicles in residential neighborhoods to be parked on hard surface and not in a public right of way. It's on for second reading and it was referred to planning. Anybody have any discussion on this?
Yeah, I have a quick question. I wasn't here at last week's meeting, so I may have missed something if you discussed any part of this, but I'm just wondering why we're doing this. It seems that people do like to sell their cars at, if they live on a main street. I'm not sure what kind of hardships this is causing.
Lisa, the only thing that's changing is adding the section F. Everything else has already been law. We don't want yards to look like used car lots. But that's been in place for years. Only F is being added to tell them that they have to park on a hard surface out of the right of way.
Yeah, but that would eliminate anybody selling their car at the end of their driveway.
No, they can park in their driveway 10, 15 feet back.
But how do they get in and out of their driveway?
They have to move the car.
Yeah, I don't know. It's.
This was requested by the police chief, service director, and residents who have complained to me about the used car lots. The right of way was Bob Zugan, right, Bob? Because of, oh, no, because it blocks vision and it makes it unsafe.
Yeah, what we were seeing where people were parking cars, they were blocking signs, they were blocking fire hydrants, they're blocking right at the end of the apron. So when people are looking to pull out, they can't see up and down. I just felt that there's no need to have something in that right from the curb that close. I think it's a hazard, just my personal opinion.
Are there other communities that have such ordinances like this that you know of?
Where's Steve?
Steve, where do you go?
Yes. Many communities don't allow car sales in the front yard, period. End of discussion.
Okay.
Any other comments, questions, Lisa?
No,
I think, I have a I mean, Bob Zugan's more about the safety. I think because we're only adding F, we already limited it to one vehicle anyway. So we shouldn't be dealing with a used car lot, because I'm looking above it says you only allow one vehicle, 4 for the whole year, but 1 at a time. So I think it's more of a safety issue than it is a used parking lot, used car parking lot issue. And if it's a safety issue, I agree. I mean,
That's what brought us back to the topic, was all the car sales. But you're right, Alan.
Thanks for the comments. Anything else? All right, there's no new business. So there's no audience. Mayor comments.
I really don't have any comments. The next newsletter will be coming soon, and I guess I could give an advance. That's really it. I don't have any comments. I talked too much last week.
All right. I don't.
Everybody's smiling. I'm looking at the screen and everybody is smiling because I said that. Okay.
I think everyone smile if Stacy said that.
Gonna happen.
No, Mayor, you didn't talk too much last week.
So
good one, Steve.
I don't think I have any comments. So let's Miss Perry.
I have no comments.
All right, Mr. Silver.
Stacy and I have a call Friday morning with Jesse from Pinecrest to get the ball rolling on Orange for the holidays. So we'll be providing updates on that every meeting probably. If anyone wants to assist us, just by making some phone calls to some of the businesses, please let us know. Any help would be welcome. Thank you. That's all I have.
Did we have to excuse Pradeep from tonight's meeting?
It's not a motion to excuse him though. Who else? Alan, comments?
No comments.
All right. Judd, comments?
Few planning commission met last night. We approved 7 new houses for the Lakes of Orange. And I understand that we have a whole tranche more that will be coming up in the next several weeks. The Lakes is really filling out very, very rapidly. And we're looking forward to that work happening in the village. The Ready Committee met on the 8th. We had a very good meeting with some lively discussion, and leave you to, I won't go into the details. I'll let you look at the notes or listen to the recording that's available on the Orange website. I did want to throw out some ideas as if and when we have funds that could be allocated for some community facilities. One might be the first thing that I think might be interesting to consider, and it might not be all that much money, is many of the communities that have exits off of the interstates have identification signs at the bottom of the ramp. And I think it would be altogether appropriate for Orange to similarly consider some kind of a signage that says Orange Village on it, because so many people get off of the interstate and think they're in Beechwood or Warrensville Heights or somewhere else. And I think it's important for our own identity to perhaps provide that kind of a recognition facility. I don't think it would have to be all that expensive. It could be designed reasonably and installed in a way that would be enhancing to Orange Village. And the other thought that I had, recently, Aurora opened up their splash park over by the Aurora High School, and it has really taken off with their community. What a wonderful facility that is. I certainly don't know at this point what the cost was for Aurora to do so.
I
But,
wanted that years ago, Judd. We've been through that. Someday Bob can
I
tell you all the
I
reasons
know,
why we don't
I
have one.
I'm sure you can, but nevertheless, I think it's something that we might want to think about as an amenity for our residents if we can afford to do it. So I'm just throwing those ideas out there for the good of the community.
What do you think the
And,
signs would cost? Because you have any
I don't
idea what the Beechwood sign costs?
I don't have that, but I could research it. I can't imagine
Give me a
it'd be more
ballpark.
than 10 or
Five digits,
$15,000.
Judd, were you thinking like the Beechwood sign or the one Solon just put up off of 422, which is digital?
No, like the Beechwood sign, something pretty simple that could be done graphic and.
That's on
is
Bob
a
Zugan's
fixed
wish list
sign.
too.
Yeah. What
How
the,
much does it cost, Kathy? Kathy,
I
how
would,
much-
I'd be happy to look into some costs for it. It's not too
Good.
dissimilar to the kind of the signs that I designed for the entrance to Orangewood. And as a metal on a backer that could be installed and allow for visibility and identity at the same time.
Judd, can I interject one
Sure.
second
Go ahead,
here?
Bob.
I would ask you to take a look across from the off ramp and put it in the wedge section on the orange, the northbound there. Because what I notice on the Beechwood signs and stuff like that, there's a lot of road and snow and salt spray that's really affects all the plantings and the signs itself. ODOT takes care of all those. So we got the LAR coming off the ramp. If you put it across from the off ramp, there's that nice area which would be off the road. That was just my
Oh,
thoughts
that's
when I was
that's
looking
fine.
at
Not a
this.
bad idea. Put it on the other side of the road. You
Be
can-
on the north side of Harvard Road. So when you got off, you would
Right.
look at it there.
Yeah.
Again,
That-
just a
that-
thought.
That's a piece of the planning, the detail and so on, but I just think it's something worth considering, and I don't think it would be that expensive for the village to undertake. And that's all I got. Stacy has a few other comments on the Ready Committee that she'll share and on her section.
Thank you, Ms. Klein. Mr. Vincent.
Thank you. I just want to say that I'm thrilled that we're able to complete that section of the trails to tie in Woodmere sidewalks. And I look forward to literally connecting our two communities together and walking our trails with our neighbors to our north. Just to add a note, as Judd said about our upcoming Ready Committee meetings, we're changing the schedule a bit, really to accommodate my schedule coming up in the fall. So if you do have any interest in it, check the website. We sent the dates to Anna, so we'll update the website if anyone's interested in attending future meetings. I stopped by earlier today. I had to return a sign and take care of a few other things, and it was great to see the mayor and the police chief and get to chat with them in person. So I just wanted to say thanks to them for their time and also let our residents know that they're eager to renew their meet and greets now that folks can gather comfortably together again. So as always, their doors remain open. So call on them again. The Lander Circle Kiwanis annual rummage sale begins tomorrow at the barns behind the on Gale Ave. I hope you'll all check it out at some point over the next 3 days and support our Kiwanians. In school news, the board met in person this past Monday. It included a discussion about a survey that went out to parents to assess percentage of students who are vaccinated against COVID. The board and administration will be clarifying the policy soon for the 21-22 school year with regard to mask use. And as a reminder, the board meetings are only in person now, not live streamed. So interested parties may attend and can attend and should attend in person if they'd like to be there. The next meeting, I believe, is scheduled for August 9th. Calendar mailed out this weekend and hopefully in the hands of families of students soon and available for pickup by the end of July. And very quickly in TV news, we always ended with a kicker or a story that makes you smile. So I will give you the answer. And the answer is this famous 1978 Orange High School alum and former Orange Village resident is hosting Jeopardy this week. The question for the win is,
What is George?
Who is George? Who is George Stephanopoulos? Not where. That was a convention a few years back. Who is George Stephanopoulos? So if you haven't tuned into Jeopardy yet, 2 more days to tune in and see him hosting. He's gotten rave reviews. So I just thought that was fun, local tie. That is all I have. Thank you.
All right, I think that's everything. So I will make a motion to adjourn. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, and if you'd call roll, please.
Harness,
Yes.
Vincent,
Yes.
Perry,
Yes.
Silver,
Yes.
Klein,
Yes.
Stuber.
Yes. All right, good night, everybody.
Night.
Right.
Right.